Hello, folks. I'll be your lovely host today. Let me start by stating that, well, despite my busy schedule, but in the effort to keep some normalcy, and I will continue to keep the lights on this channel, and whatever insurmountable circumstances, I'll keep pushing. With all that aside, so today we're doing a nifty review of the Hobbymaster rendition of the Lockheed F-35C Lightning II, or the F-35 Charlie. Hmm. Well, I'm calling it this because, as you all know, there's a three variants of the F-35. We have the A variant, which I call the Alpha, and the C, I call it the Charlie, and the B Bravo. Well, just to make sure I'm being clear, the other practical fact, as an aviation buff here, sometimes I really enjoy using different terminology, and that's all. And I hope you find it interesting, but I digress. Now that we've touched on that, back to the main point, which is the F-35C with a sophisticated mirror coating. And supposedly this is the latest and the greatest version of the F-35. Now, this particular aircraft belonged to the XE-100, which is the U.S. Navy squadron. Now, to give you some background on it, the XE-100 is an F-35C aircraft operated by the U.S. Navy's Air Test and Evaluation Squadron, or better known the VX-9, based out of the Naval Air Weapons Station in China Lake, California. Also, it's a part of the Vampires fleet, along with other F-35Cs test aircraft, specifically the one with the mirror coating livery. Now, following my typical approach, I'll start with a brief overview of the historical background, after which we'll explore the next topic, which will be the model itself. Although I think I've covered the subject of the F-35C quite a bit in my previous reviews, so let's circle back to this. Excuse me, folks. So we're going to talk about the F-35 Charlie, particularly the JSF program, where it began and where does it now, and some of the general background of it, and also the history of it. And I think this video, it might be a little tricky for some of you out there. For those of you who are not really fans of this aircraft, come on, folks, how can you not like an F-35? So when we talk about the F-35, it seems there is a broad camp. So, well, some people think that this aircraft is controversial and overrated. Then there's people from the other side consider that the F-35 is the cornerstone of the modern military aviation, the most lethal in survival, etc., etc. So let me simplify the F-35 subject. I'll try to put it in simple terms for you. So the F-35 program begins in 1990. To be accurate, in 1992, also the program called the Joint Strike Fighter, or the JSF. Well, the U.S. Department of Defense launched the JSF program to develop a new generation of multi-role fighter aircraft. So there were two main competitors. One of them was the Boeing X-32 and the Lockheed X-35. Boeing and Lockheed Martin, uh, excuse me, were awarded contracts to develop a concept demonstrator aircraft, basically to showcase their designs and capabilities for the JSF program. One of them was the winner, which the Lockheed X-35, and unfortunately, the other one went out past true. So the goal of the JSF program was to create a multiple variants of the multi-role fighter stealth fighter that meant to need the United States Air Force and the Navy and the Marine Corps, as well as the allied nations. So that will be three variants of the F-35. So A model and the B model and the C model. So the A model basically takes off and land conventionally from long runways, and the B model that has vertical takeoff and landing, also called the V-stall or C-stall, STOVL, excuse me, I should say, capability, and the C model able to operate off of the aircraft carriers. So what we're talking here, so we're talking ultimately uh, one single airframe able to meet all three needs with its streamlined operations. The F-35 is supposedly the most lethal and efficient machine out there in the world. What now, as we've seen some of the results saying that not quite how it works, one of the drawbacks of the F-35 program is the driven cost. Um, which is in the coming decades as well. The Department of Defense plans to spend an estimated 1.7 trillion. That with a T, lots of money, right? On nearly 2,500 F-35s, and most of that funds will go to operating and maintaining, and the most of the part repairing the aircraft. Department of Defense faces costly maintenance issue with the F-35, such as delays setting up military service depot facilities just to complete the most complex repairs and inadequate equipment to keep the aircraft operational. Uh, the maintenance and supply delays affecting the aircraft readiness because of all these drawbacks at the Lockheed. The Department of Defense intends to transition more maintenance responsibility that from contracts to the government. So, in other words, it doesn't have a plan to achieve this goal because a lot of money is going into the F-35 program. Worth note that the money typically spent in defense procurement, especially in the projects such as like an F-35, if that money, you know, really spends on the back end for the research and the design and the maintenance, as I mentioned. So it isn't it is an expensive fighter to operate, but I think it's a big investment too. As we all know, the F-35 is basically designed multi-fifth generation fighter, meaning it's able to do an air-to-ground missions, air-to-air missions. So the stealth aspects gives the ability to operate in the contested environments like places that the fourth generation fighters will not be able to operate in such a heavily contested space with the integrated defense systems. One of the most revolution aspects of the F-35 is sensor fusion. It's able to take all data to absorb, collect, and present it to the pilot, to the display, who is then able to make a smart decisions with the best information possible in a highly dynamic and lethal environment. With all that being said, however, some of the drawbacks pops up recently, talking some of the system issues of the F-35, and there is a four main areas that highlighted. The first issue was, according to the research, the availability rates. Second issue was the maintenance cost and the procurement. Uh, the Joint Strike Fighter program, specifically the F-35, has faced several bottlenecks. Issue was the maintenance costs and the procurement. The third minor issue is related to the accuracy of the 20 millimeter cannon, primarily issue with the F-35s. So particularly on the F-35A model, A variant, I should say, was inaccurate firing due to the design and installation problems of the internal gun mount. The mount was misaligned, leading to inaccurate shots and even causing a partial physical damage to the aircraft fuselage. Well, the B model and a B model, however, do not have the internal cannon. Instead, they rely on the external belly mount gun pods for close range firepower, and those pods designated, if my memory serves, we're talking two different pods. First one, the GPU 8. I think that one's specifically designed for the C model, and the GPU 9. That one is designed for the F-35B model, which, by the way, I'm planning to review the B model, but later after doing a engine nozzle replacement on it. So hopefully we'll get a satisfactory on that topic. Anyhow, finally, delays with the improvements, the other areas of the software development and production. These issues have resulted in delays, cost overruns at Lockheed. So, coming back to the JSF program, in 1995, congressional legislation merged the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, or better known as the DARPA, and other nations that were involved in the JSF program, particularly United Kingdom. Well, the United Kingdom was interested particularly on the B variant, and other nations such as Australia, Canada, Norway, Turkey, Netherlands, Denmark. Incidentally, Turkey was later removed from the program. I don't know why. I think due to the some security concerns, which was back in 2019. Other nations such as Belgium, Israel, Japan, Poland, Singapore, South Korea, and Switzerland have also purchased the F-35 through the U.S. Foreign Military Sales Program. So, speaking of the Israeli, they operate the F-35, particularly the A model, or better knowing the F-35 Adir. Basically, it's a modernized version of the American F-35 to meet their requirements. Further, the F-35 knowing as a Lightning II is a Joint Strike Fighter or JSF emphasis added because contracts exist for the United States Air Force and the Marine Corps and Navy, as well as the eight NATO countries and five non NATO partners. The fighter has three variants, as I've mentioned. The F 35A, well, the F 35A have a nuclear weapons capability. The F 35 was designed to utilize stealth technology and systems integration to give the U.S. advantages for decades to come. Although the plane has demonstrated many capabilities, its effectiveness has been undermined by runway cost and numbers of serious challenges. The F-35 was designed to be jack of all trades, created to execute multiple missions and replace multiple specialized aircraft. However, it struggles to achieve its promise. Its multi-role design, although it's helpful for foreign sales, I mean, is it does not perform in any role, uh, as well as uh, the aircraft of the U.S. Air Force inventory, uh, supply chain issues. The other factors mean the F-30 U.S. fleets did not meet the Department of Defense expectations. It was a 70% mission capable rate for 2020, meaning nearly of a third of the fleet was incapable of flying any kind of combat missions. So full mission capable rates we're talking here. So, meaning that those missions against threats requiring full mission capabilities of the aircraft uh, basically lagged even further behind the Department of Defense expectations. So, Lockheed Martin has already delivered 283 F-35s to the United States Air Force, making the F-35 fleet the second largest in the Air Force inventory after the F-16. So, a total of 655 jets have been delivered to the United States and other international partners as of June 2021. And again, the F 35 was designed to replace the Air Force A 10, F 16, and possibly the F 15, uh, and the Navy's F 18, and the Marine Corps uh, FA 18 as well. But however, production delays and deficiencies identified during testing have forced all three services to buy additional legacy aircraft and to push back retirement of their current legacy fleets, adding to the overall as I've said earlier, the cost of the program. This aircraft is a costly uh, proportion. Even the helmet, every time when you guys seen an F-35 pilot wearing helmet walking towards his aircraft, uh, to give you a little background on the F-35 helmet, it's a highly advanced piece of technology, or better knowing the helmet mount display system, or HMDS. Correct me if I botched on that, which provides the F-35 pilots with a real-time 360. Pardon me, folks. I had to take a little swag here. So, anyways, provides a pilot with a real-time 360 of situational awareness. Basically, gives a pilot a high resolution with the crucial information with the 3D technology system, which makes the pilot basically feels like he's part of the fuselage. It's just kind of like a video game. Now, discussing the cost, which can cost well over 400,000 per helmet. Yeah, I think that's outrageously expensive, right? Excuse me, folks. So yeah, um, and this helmet price is almost half of what my house cost. But I digress. Yeah, since we have a lot to talk, about. I'm not gonna, really get into that. Otherwise, so would make my video minimum 2 hours long, and I don't want to bore you guys too much, with a lot of unnecessary details. Now let's shift and talk a little bit about this sophisticated type of skin on the F-35. Um, First of all, you know, it's the general layout of this metallic coating on the F-35C is nearly identical to what we've seen uh, on the F-22 Raptor. This is the insane new upgraded F-35 with NGAD technology spectrum, unlike what we see in uh, the typical F-35 paint scheme. So the NGAD program designed to test fifth generation and the sixth generation fighters with next technologies of the mirror coating, and now later we have a black coating also coming down the line to basically significantly reduce the infrared or radar signature, which makes these stealthy fighters more invincible up against the advanced surface to air systems and other integrated weapon systems. So, what is the NGAD program? The NGAD program is a U.S. Air Force initiative aimed at developing a sixth generation air superiority system. Is basically to succeed the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. The program focuses on the creating a family of systems centered around a crewed fighters aircraft supported by uncrewed collaborative combat aircraft, or better known as CCA, and other advanced technologies. Uh, the NGAD program has undergone a significant developments, with the Air Force announcing in March 2025 that Boeing's I think you guys have seen that recently, right, with the F-47. So the Boeing F-47 design had been selected for the program. Uh, uh, Crewed fighter component. The program's budget, I believe, for fiscal 2025 includes 3.3 billion for NJAD development, which plans to spend, according to the research, 19.6 or 19.8 billion on the NJAD program. And also, the NJAD program is executed to play a crucial role in maintaining the U.S. air superiority with the crewed fighters aircraft and CCAs working together to achieve air dominance in the future conflicts. So, coming back to this sophisticated mirror coating on these fifth generation fighters. So, some folks says this is a shiny, and some folks says it's matte. Well, I would say the coating goes from matte to somewhat shiny looking, depending on what aspect you're viewing it from, which I think makes sense to me. I'm interested on your inputs if you disagree with me. So, what is the intended purpose of this mirror coating? Well, feel free to join my speculations on this. So, we still don't know the origins of these coatings but there is the possibility that these aircraft are involved in the testing activities related to the counter, something called the IRST, or Infrared Research Track System technologies, or tracking targets, or it acts basically as a test bed for some technologies that will eventually make its way to the sixth generation aircraft, or even some kind of radar absorbing materials replacement. While it's knowing why the new coatings are being used on the F-35C on the aircraft carrier, well, A plausible hypothesis is a test in the harsh maritime environment with aircraft subjected to a high volume of the flight activities. In fact, during the first operational deployments of the F-35C abroad aircraft carriers around the world, um, it has been noted that those coatings showed significant wear and tear in the demanding maritime environment, and with what appear to be rusty looking deposits all across the aircraft. However, this mirror coating, I believe, it's a next step of the complementing the sixth generation fighters. I know that was a bit long, so how about we switch to something else? So let's tackle the model subject, folks. So to begin, this was made by Hobbymaster in 1/72nd scale under model number HA6210. Hopefully, I didn't botch on that. This is so this bird, guys, is beautiful. Hobbymaster absolutely knocked it out. The chrome, uh, the chrome stands out against the standard gray, which makes me say that this model must have. And for the F-35 fans out there, I would say get it before the time elapses. And this model is truly shows what Hobbymaster is capable of. Uh, the intensity of this chrome is fairly solid. Hobbymaster, they capture those details accurately. The other thing is, I was impressed about this chrome finish, and I think this is not something easy for any model manufacturer to capture. For mimicking this reflectiveness of this particular patina, I think it's going to be an extraordinary difficult. And moving into the fitment and accessories, so the accessories details are done really well. Thankfully, I did not encounter with any fitment issues on this particular example. You can display weapon bays either closed or open uh, as expected from Hobbymaster. They offer plethora of choices. Speaking about the armament of this particular release, it comes only with two JDAMs, joint direct attack munitions, which basically air to ground bombs, and two air to air 120 AMRAAMs, and that's it. So in terms of armament, it might be a little stingy for some of you out there. So the other thing is, you cannot hang bombs under the wings. The slots are blocked off from the factory, and for me, that's not an issue. And I think that reflects the real life aircraft. However, there are other previous releases of the F-35C uh, that you can hang bombs under the wings, but on this particular release, you cannot. And let's say you came up with an idea, you have an armament from other F-35. If you want to swap them out, right, you can, because Hobbymaster, they put some kind of fillers on the pylon slots, so basically they're blocked off, period. But trust me, if I decide, I can. Nothing too hard for me. And if you're curious about this step, please hit me on the comments below. I hope I won't be considered a uh, presumptuous if I offer some kind of advice. Um, Also, the markings, insignia on the tail marks, all those things, to me, considered done really well, from my understanding. Also, it comes with the two sets of removable canopies. Obviously, you can display in the open position or closed. It comes down to your preferences. The cockpit details are excellent. Speaking about the aft engine nozzle, you may notice from the intro shots, I did some modification, which I paint the interior of the nozzle with the ceramic coating. Just makes it more realistic to the actual article. I mean, they look okay, and I think they're on the right track. But I think there is definitely some room for more details for Hobby Master to add on. But I understand it's a mass producers, and also you may notice I did weather the landing gear. I did add some patina, just makes it more realistic since this aircraft operates off of the aircraft carriers, and it comes with the traditional Hobby Master stand that you can display it in the ground configuration, as you can see here in front of you, or you can display it in the flight configuration at your leisure, which I'm not keen on that. So overall, I think it's a really good representation of the F-35C, and I will say, if you are a fan of the F-35C, specifically with this chrome finish, get it and act fast. Prices will be increasing soon, I think. And that brings me to conclusion. So what do I think about this release? If you're looking to collect one of those Hobby Master F-35s, look no further than this particular release. This model is, I don't know what should I say, folks. This model is breathtakingly beautiful. And also, folks, to give you an idea about this aircraft, I've seen this aircraft fly by. It's a very loud fighter, which some folks complain, say, "Oh, it's too loud." But I think loud, I love loud fighters. That sounds like a freedom for me, for the Air Force people. Um, so keeps it loud, baby. So yeah, it's got that F-135 Pratt& Whitney, a very reliable engine. This platforms definitely deserves that engine because it's such a high advanced fighter, and that engine powers all variants of the F-35 and traces its development cycle to Pratt and F-119 engine, which powers the boss of the sky, the F-22 Raptor. So, all right, everyone, that wraps up on today's episode. If you like the video, hit that like and please subscribe to my channel. Once you subscribe, basically, you stay informed and you will not miss anything coming forward. I'm aiming to release videos every other week, but it might vary depending on my schedule. Um, so once you subscribe, it just helps my channel to grow. So, let's bring the subscription, volume up, folks. And please share those videos with your friends, with your beloved ones. So definitely, I'm planning to release more cool videos. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and your support definitely appreciated. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop your questions in the comments section below. I'll be happy to answer them. And Patriot sign off. We'll catch you all in the next one.